Hey folks, Steve here, sitting in for Jesse Dollemore this week. The FBI has released its nationwide crime statistics for 2023, and guess what? Violent crime is down. Here are some of the details, courtesy of this article from the BBC, headline, "What Latest FBI Data Shows About Violent Crime." What does new FBI data show? Violent crime, as recorded by the FBI, includes homicide, rape, robbery, and aggravated assault reported to and recorded by police forces. Its latest report shows that violent crime fell by an estimated 3% between 2022 and 2023. Murder and non-negligent manslaughter reduced by 12%, the largest drop in the last 20 years. The report also shows falls in rape by 9%, robbery by 0.3%, aggravated assault by 3%. So good news, right? Violent crime is bad. Less violent crime is good. Good news for everybody except Republicans, whose case for why they should be elected to lead the country is largely based on painting the United States as a crime-ridden hellhole being overrun by violent gangs of undocumented immigrants and radical leftist terrorists. So what's a good Republican to do in the face of hard data that directly contradicts one of their pet narratives? Well, here's what Jesse Waters did about it on Fox News' The Five.
The murder capital of the country, New Orleans, is not included. Mm-hmm. Chicago, not included.
New York City,
LA, not
Los
included.
Angeles.
Besides all the major metropolitan areas with all the homicides, everything else is fine.
He really is the smuggest of the smug bastards, isn't he? Jesse Waters. That self-satisfied grin that he gets at the end of that clip as though he just single-handedly delegitimized the crime stats of the FBI. The argument he's making there is that we can't trust the conclusion that violent crime is down because the stats that show violent crime being down don't include cities with high rates of violent crime. He mentions New Orleans, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, the places conservatives usually mention when they're trying to paint urban America as some kind of concrete killing field. And there's only one problem with the argument that Jesse Waters is making there, and I know this might come as a shock. It's not true. Or if I wanted to be extremely generous to Jesse Waters, which I don't, but just for the sake of it, it's out of date. Because earlier this year, the FBI did release a set of crime statistics that was missing data from some major cities. That wasn't because the Democrats were intentionally trying to hide those numbers or skew the data to paint a rosier picture so they could take credit for it. It was because of the way in which the FBI collects its national crime stats. And here's a little bit more detail on that from that same BBC article. Submitting data to the FBI is voluntary, and in recent years, some police forces have not done this. In 2021, the participation rate was around 2/3 because many agencies, including in New York and Los Angeles, did not submit data to a new FBI system. Donald Trump regularly criticizes the FBI data, and his website says it is missing nearly 1/3 of the nation's law enforcement agencies, including from many of the most violent cities, such as Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Oakland, and New Orleans. But participation has steadily improved, and in 2023, more than 85% of agencies enrolled in the FBI's data collection system submitted figures. The FBI says every city agency covering a population of 1 million or more residents contributed a full 12 months of data in 2023. And here's the deal. If you don't trust the BBC or any of the other major news outlets that are reporting the same thing, you can verify this for yourself. In order to verify for yourself that the newly released FBI crime statistics do in fact include data from supposedly high crime cities like Chicago and New York and New Orleans, etc., all you have to do is first Google FBI crime statistics. The top result will be a link from the FBI. FBI releases 2023 crime in nation statistics. You click on that, and then you see a press release, and at the bottom of the press release, there's a link that says the complete analysis is located in the FBI's Crime Data Explorer. You click on that, and you get a pretty little loading screen. Isn't it beautiful? Your tax dollars at work. And then you come to the homepage of the FBI Crime Data Explorer. You go over to the right-hand side under State Agency Data, click the Explore button, and then you come to a database that allows you to look up the crime statistics for not just individual states, but individual districts and individual agencies within those states that have submitted data. So to double check, for example, that Chicago does in fact have data representing its crime statistics in this database, first we go to Illinois, which is the state where Chicago is. And then, under Agency Select, we can either go through a drop-down list or we can just type in Chicago. Scroll down the list of results in the drop-down box and look at that. Chicago Police Department. I think that's in Chicago. We can click on that and you can see their crime statistics submitted to the FBI. And the automatic range that it goes back to is 5 years. So it automatically covers 5 years. And you can see the crime data that Chicago PD has submitted to the FBI since 2019. And you can see actually there is a break from 2020 to 2023, or excuse me, from 2020 to about halfway through 2021, it actually says, where apparently they didn't submit data. So this reflects the period of time where certain agencies were not submitting data to the FBI. There's a gap. Then you can see in Chicago's case, there does seem to have been a big increase in reporting of violent crime, but it's there in the database. It's not missing. It's represented. We can try another one. How about California and then Los Angeles, which you can see I've already searched for previously because it's in the memory of the drop-down menu. And then in Los Angeles, we see the data reported. See, it's there. It's not missing. It hasn't been hidden. It is included in the 2023 crime statistics. What else did they say? New Orleans? Let's try New Orleans. Louisiana. New Orleans. And New Orleans Police Department. Let's try that. Look at that. There it is. Huh. How weird. It's almost as if this data could have been easily verified by any of the people claiming that it's not there. And you can verify it for yourself as well. So how long did it take me to do that? A couple of minutes? Jesse Waters could have done that. Donald Trump could have, well, he probably couldn't have done that himself. I doubt he knows how to work a pocket calculator, let alone a computer, but someone could have done it for Donald Trump and informed him of the result. This is an easy claim to fact check and refute. When Jesse Waters or anybody says, well, the crime data that says violent crime is down doesn't include Chicago, you can look it up yourself. You can see that Chicago is there and that Chicago's crime rate apparently is actually gotten higher, unfortunately, since the gap in reporting. But even with that included, even with that factored in, the nationwide level of violent crime has still come down. You can look it up for yourself. The information is publicly available. It is readily accessible. And people like Jesse Waters and Donald Trump and all the other various mouthpieces and politicians on the right, they don't seek out that information because if they did, what they found would contradict their narrative. So they don't fact check, and they're assuming, probably correctly, that most of their viewers and voters aren't going to fact check it either. If an old fact is disproven by a new fact, but the old fact fits your narrative and the new one doesn't, ignore the new one and keep pushing the old one. It's a rule of conspiracy theorist logic, and it's a rule of conservative logic, which are often the same thing. That's it for me, everybody. Once again, I am Steve Shives, sitting in for Jesse Dollemore this week. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more from me, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Steve Shives and follow me on social media at the links listed in the video description. Also, if you're watching this and you are not yet subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe to Jesse Dollemore's channel. It's excellent. You will not regret it. I promise you. And if it turns out you do regret it, that promise on my behalf was not legally actionable. I don't think you can come after me for that. But I'm just saying you're probably not going to regret it if you haven't subscribed to Jesse's channel and you do so as a result of me saying this. Don't forget, my fellow Americans, we have an election coming up on November 5th, so please double check your voter registration. If you can do more, please do so. But at the very least, on November the 5th, vote. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.